Hi there, you're listening to Unnatural Selection, the show about newsy type stuff and things. My name is George,
My name is Tom.
And my name is Adam.
and with our powers combined, we are Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com.
I'm not going to say
Back
it.
for
I'm
another
not going to
week.
say it. Damn it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it that Adam's now come full circle. He's now against saying back for another week, and eventually he'll be pro it again. So you can almost set your watch to it.
I like a good backflip.
Um,
That's what I'm all about.
You like a good one,
I'm
sorry?
versatile. Backflip.
Uh,
I can flip my back on multiple occasions, just like our politicians, which is
whoa,
I guess what we're talking
political,
about today.
political. Whoa, slow down.
yeah, Adam, I'm a simple white guy. That opinion was way too spicy for me.
Yes, but
Oh boy,
but also, Tom, yogurt is too spicy for you.
that's true. I don't like yogurt.
So this is a show about newsy type stuff and things. We talk about, news and politics from here in Australia and also here, there, and all around the world. And it does seem a little bit like the world has been ending this week because
yeah, it's been a biggin.
it's okay. So just for context, if you're listening to this deep into the future, the coronavirus pandemic still very much alive and well and kicking.
Yep, still a thing.
So you got plague number one, obviously plague, pestilence. We've got natural disasters in that we had an earthquake this week here in Victoria, and
Like one of the biggest ones in like a century or something like that.
Yeah, just biggest earthquake in recent recorded history in Australia. And luckily, because Australia is very, very big and the people are very, very dispersed, I don't believe anyone was killed, as far as I'm aware.
No, not to my knowledge.
And which was great because it happened off in sort of country Victoria. And although we did get some scenes of a wall in Chapel Street that must have been fairly poorly built because it collapsed. And so lots of people in Chapel Street.
Oh no. We will rebuild. We will rebuild.
Honestly, like it was the most exciting thing that's happened in some time because like my mum and I were like, there's a new thing for us to talk about. There's a new thing. There's a new thing to talk about. And so you've got the pestilence, you've got the earthquake, and you've got the social unrest of protests in front of the CFMEU, which is a construction union, by people that may or may not be actual tradies. So it may be mere moments before the earth, the jaws of the earth yawn open beneath us and the hellmouth is opened, unleashing, all the firstborns will be taken as tribute.
Just Googling Book of
Revelations.
Revelation and
that's weird. Those four horsemen are riding across, but I don't see. It looks like they haven't got any heads. That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, which part of the Book of Revelations is the Tradie uprising? I think I missed that week.
It's the seventh part of the process. You got to do the horsemen, and then there's someone with that. I don't understand. The Book of Revelations is like an acid trip. It's not doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I remember hearing
7 steps. 7 steps to Armageddon.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's too many steps. You gotta work on your pipelines. You gotta make that more efficient.
Just to be clear, sorry, Wikipedia is actually divided into 12 subsections. So
12-step program.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Number one, apologize to all the headless horsemen that you've wronged in the past.
There's something about an angel that had 7 bowls or bowls. I don't know whether it's a bowl or a bowl. I think it's a bowl.
I think it's probably a bowl, surely.
Yeah, the angel with 7 bowels, I think, is a very different story. Just like, I don't know if there's like an alternate ending where there's just a cavalcade of shit just blasted into the earth.
Yeah, it's the very lengthy story about Gabriel's IBS didn't make it into the final cut of the Bible, but it's irritable bowel syndrome is it's a serious condition, affects a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah, it's very real. Go see your medical professional.
We may have gotten slightly sidetracked. So
very sidetracked.
So let's start with the protests. So there were hundreds of arrests across Melbourne this week. What started as Dan Andrews, Daddy Dandrews of Dantoria, said that there'd been a lot. I guess there'd been a lot of spread in the construction industry of the coronavirus, and so a few things changed, I guess, about the government's response to that, in that they said that if you're going to be on a work site, you need to have at least one dose of the vaccine, and
I think at first they were put sort of like quote unquote on notice. They were like, we're going to be going around and making sure that you're following all the protocols, all that sort of stuff. And then a week later, they were like, shut it down. You're clearly not doing it. You all have 2 weeks to get your first dose of vaccine and we're shutting down the industry.
They were initially like shutting down tea rooms and shutting down break areas, and people were like, oh, but where am I going to have my 420 pie, my iced coffee, my fucking dare? Where am I going to drink my dare? So people didn't like that.
The response to that was that they put like tables and chairs out on the street.
Yeah, they had their smoko breaks or whatever, like right in the middle of the street.
I love that
for some reason.
The left gets called snowflakes, but you know when they're like, "Hey, could you maybe have your breaks outside?" Not the like, no, you can't fucking take away my tea room. I needs my fucking tea room. I'm gonna camp out in the middle of the street and have a smoko break in the middle of the street. It's like they discovered something like 50% or less of construction workplaces were actually compliant with coronavirus restrictions, and yet it's the libtards that are the man babies, that are the fragile snowflakes. It's not them. But so they shut the construction industry down for 2 weeks, and the response was, okay, let's go protest at the union headquarters, because they felt as though, I guess the feeling was amongst some of the protesters that the union had been somewhat complicit in...
that the union should have been standing up to this government mandate of them being vaccinated, to which the union kind of played the, like walked that line of that while we get it, like we're with you on this one, also like we want to make things safe and keep like sites open and working, like, as a union should be trying to do, like to be able to work safely. But yeah, it turned into a bit of a shit fight on Monday of this week. I think Monday was the first day of protests, was it? I know there's been at least one every week.
To be clear, they shut down the industry after the protest. The protest was the nail in the coffin, so to speak. The initial protest. There's been multiple protests. Don't you love a good protest?
Yeah, there's been one every day this week. Like in some form, but I think Tuesday, was the biggin, like sort of the big one where they marched onto the Westgate Bridge and like lots and lots of photos of just like a sea of high vis just shutting down city streets, and I've seen footage of them all singing horses while letting off flares. It was very strange.
Interestingly, Daryl Braithwaite's horses led to a jump in ivermectin sales, but I don't know if the two things are related.
I wondered if that was actually like a bit. Like, is it just that, we're all a bunch of Aussie blokes and we fucking love Daryl Braithwaite's horses? Or given the, I don't know if co-opting is the right word, but sort of the co-opting of the anti-vaxxer movement sentiment in the protests popping up, was it hey, ivermectin is a good alternative maybe, so let's sing a song about horses because it's horse paste or whatever.
I think you're giving him too much credit. I think it's just a tune, and people were just like, what a fucking banger. We all know the words to this.
So it's like, it's the one song they could all sing because no one can hit the same notes of You're the Voice.
Do people actually know the lyrics to the verses of horses?
No, that's not the important.
I don't think they do.
You know the chorus.
Way up high.
Yeah. No. You just, like, whenever Daryl Braithwaite performs that, everyone's just like, just get to the bit where you sing about the horses. And they just do the chorus like 80 times in a row. But yeah, it was getting pretty, I don't know how you guys felt, but it was getting pretty scary. I thought, like, even though, I'm not going anywhere, like was nowhere near any of this sort of stuff and was in no danger because we're all still staying at home. But just seeing like hordes and hordes of people letting off flares and cops firing rubber bullets and like just the aggression and brutality coming from all angles. Yeah, it was intense. Like that was a little bit terrifying. Because even seeing cops beating down people you don't agree with is still awful.
It was concerning seeing violence and cops sort of struggling and fighting people in the streets and that sort of stuff. And then as the week progressed, it seems steadily more evident that whilst it might have started as a way of of construction workers, or mainly construction workers, protesting their sort of vaccine conditions, it became clear that throughout the week it increasingly got hijacked by anti-vaxxers and that whole sort of protest. And there were even allegations from prominent ministers like Bill Shorten that there were fake tradies, basically people turning up and in just buying a high-vis vest and turning up to sort of hijack the protest and make it about the vaccine rather than
very much like
just about the vaccine. There's also, anti-vaxxers are one segment of it. You've also got neo-Nazis and just generally people that are a part of that freedom
sovereign citizen,
the freedom rally stuff where they believe that the lockdown, like they might believe in vaccines, but they also believe that the vaccine, not the vaccine, they believe in vaccines, but they also believe that the lockdowns are unnecessary.
I do think that there is like on the Venn diagram of people, like I do think there are tradies that are also neo-Nazis. Like I'm sure that there is some crossover there between those two groups, but it is clear that at this point it's not just tradies protesting their working conditions. It's been sort of co-opted and sort of absorbed into this larger protest movement around.
And it's gaining momentum to some degree. I think if you extrapolate that these would be a percentage of the population that are the ones that are actually brave enough to flout the rules, then potentially there's quite a lot of people that are very unhappy at the moment. And the construction sector, let's not forget, it's something like, what's it worth, $3 billion or something like that a year. 1 in 3 jobs in Australia are connected to the construction industry in some way. I'm currently stood down because of the restrictions. It's a big sector, and and there are a lot of different aspects to it. Like primarily what they've been targeting are unionized work sites, which include things like large office towers, government projects, big infrastructure spending is kind of what they've been targeting, where the union has sort of control over it. But it also affects things like, residential home builds out in Werribee, where you've got 2 people on site, where you've got, painters potentially coming in to do renovations, that kind of thing. That's all affected as well. The only thing that hasn't sort of been affected is, I think, some of like, council workers or council contractors where, things are deemed essential. But there are a lot of tradies that have been affected by this who aren't in any way related to perhaps what is the core problem, which is, again, adherence to in those large unionized work sites. So it's a complicated issue, and whether or not it lasts longer than the 2 weeks will be another interesting factor, because every week this drags on, it's costing the economy millions and millions and millions of dollars. So there's a lot of people pissed off about it.
Well, and my thought at the time was like, because Labor traditionally is sort of tied in with the unions and sort of shutting down the construction industry, which is one of the strongest unions, like that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Maybe this is like a shitty pundit thing to do, but like my thought is like, I wonder how that's going to affect the next election. And everyone's just like, can you just shut the fuck up, George? No one cares about the next election. The country's on fire. I'm like, I wonder what this is going to do to the seat of Bunbury. Like,
George, I'll tell you what's going to happen. If you get this, take this shotgun and point it towards your knees and pull the trigger twice, one for each kneecap. That's what. If you're the Australian Labor Party, that's effectively what you're doing.
Yeah, so, it's not going to be good. But on the other hand, Matthew Guy. So I think it should be okay. I think it should be fine. Actually,
see your shotgun to the knee with a Matthew Guy.
I see you rejecting your core constituency, and I raise you one Matthew Guy.
But look, it's. I think the reason why police acted so forcefully, apart from the fact that the protests are kind of breaking the rules,
Sorry to interrupt, Adam. Is your headset is the cable
squeaking.
stretched or something? It's squeaking. Yeah, what's going on there?
That's the actual. It's the actual.
Okay,
It's just Adam's head. It's like
It's just my head. It's my cranium.
It's the squeaky wheel, like straining for the grease.
I just feel like it's like the Wizard of Oz. I need to just get you an oil can or something. I just need to just get some WD-40 in those joints or something. What's going on there? It sounds good now. So
tight, a little bit tight.
Hello.
For the show, wound up like a spring. But yeah, it's the violence that occurred on Monday. I think was the trigger point for perhaps the rest of it, because police responded. There was a lot of violence towards the union, so police had like the union front windows got smashed. Someone had like piss poured on them. I think at one of the protests.
Channel 7 journalist was attacked. Someone threw a bottle at his head, and he goes, "Oh, they're very passionate." I was like, mate. If they're a little bit more than passionate is how I would describe them, but I understand if you're in amongst it, you might not want to call them violent fuckheads because that you might get pulled apart. But yeah, it seemed especially concerning and violent, and
I think that just set the tone for the rest of the week. Really, it was
it was just the purge.
If they'd sort of just picketed it with a few signs, then maybe we wouldn't have had pepper balls and God knows what else. But there's
it's also a bit scary that those are the measures that the cops just wheel out as well.
What's
just
that?
the very the militarized police force kind of thing. Of like firing rubber bullets at people, and
if you're a
pepper
hammer,
brandos.
every problem you see is a nail, right? So
Yeah.
they go, okay, there was violent protests. What do? We come back with a much bigger hammer. Like that's the only kind of response you can really expect out of the police. And look, the violence in subsequent days was substantively less as a result. Like people were saying, okay, the police response was much more, because it was a much heavier police presence initially. It prevented things from spiraling out of control and getting more violent later on, like it did on the first sort of day or two. So on the subsequent days, there was like a camera posted up from the ABC right outside the CFMEU headquarters, and basically just every now and then a guy in an orange vest would come up and you go, oh fuck, and just like 10 cops would be on him and go, where are you fucking taking me? And it never got to a sort of like critical mass where there were hundreds of people. They were just like picking him up off the streets at all entrance points near Elizabeth Street where the union is based. So you can criticize the cops for being heavy-handed, and like don't get me wrong, I absolutely criticize the cops when they are being heavy-handed, but I think when you've got an element like this that can get violent when they congregate together, I think that's the only sensible option is to crack down on people pretty hard before it gets out of hand.
The other aspect is there was a protest a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago in Richmond, where they had just normally, they didn't have the riot police, they just had normal cops with their capsicum spray and stuff. And the cops got the shit kicked out of them. So, the concept of like learning from one's previous experiences probably has something to do with it there.
And it's also, you've got to remember, these guys are like at work. People are like, oh, that's not fair. They got the riot police. They got, riot shields. I'm like, it's not meant to be a fair fight. They're the cops. Like, this isn't a brawl at your local pub. These are people coming and doing their jobs. And when they get injured or was, like say, God forbid someone gets killed, that is someone who went to work and just got killed for doing their job. Like, and that is a risk that they undertake every time that they walk out the door. So, I understand why you would want to be heavy-handed in your response. It's not meant to be a fair fight.
Yeah, but I suppose there were also things like I always hate doing like there's reports of this and reports of that, but there was like a media photographer who the cops just like pepper sprayed and kicked the shit out of.
Yeah, and that's obviously
I'm a photographer. Yeah. Look at all the cameras.
Yeah, and that's obviously not on as well. Look, I'm not the defend the cops guy by any means, as you guys well know, but I'm also not the. There's no good people.
Yes,
there's no good people anyway.
That's what's
in any story.
About this. I've seen so many people sort of being like, God damn it, like, fuck you guys for making me root for the police in this scenario.
Yeah, it's Yeah, you know things are bad when you're when you when you're rooting for the cops. It's
Yeah.
it's so
It's just so infuriating. Like, I don't know, there's not like a lot of comedy sort of coming out of it because it, as
Oh,
well
really?
as there just being like
You don't think this is
angry,
right for
the
comedy
angry,
gold, the
right?
breakdown of society? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've got a few couple of penis ha-has we can make out of this, surely.
Oh well, because we're just three idiots. Like, we're not here to be actually like reporting on anything. We're here to say funny stuff about things that are going on. There's not a lot that's kind of amusing about it because, as well as just the violent riots and all that sort of stuff, they're attacking healthcare workers with their anti-jab bullshit. Like, if they're seeing people wearing medical accreditation in the city, people are like feeling threatened. And then as well, Adam touched on before that you yourself have been stood down in your work because of this. In their like all this chaos, it's not just their own jobs that they are putting. Like, yes, they've been shut down, but they were willing to at least have protested before the shutdown, like walking off the job to yell about all this kind of petty bullshit like tea rooms and having to get the vaccine and all that sort of stuff. It affects more than just them. Like, risking your own job to go protest, fine, but you've risked Adams and heaps of other people who are connected to this. Like, the sheer selfishness of it is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it really.
He just wants to sort of let it rip. Do you know what? Let's turn the healthcare system off and let's just open up and let's just let it rip and let's just.
You can't though.
See what happens.
I was going to say, 18 months ago, I would not have pictured Adam would have, in the future, come around to maybe grandma has to die for the economy.
It's more just like, if that's your, it's kind of stupid because it's minority of people, but like I kind of want them just to be like, oh, I fucked up, like the moment where they realize they've made a critical mistake when they can't breathe. That's I kind of wanted them to get to that point of like horror realization.
I know, I understand where that feeling comes from, where you're like, fuck it, okay, well, if you don't want to get the vaccine, you can just get sick and fuck you. But it's not just about you. That's the thing. It's not just about you and your choices and your freedoms, because no man, as John Donne said, no man is an island, right? We all live in interdependence with each other. So if a bunch of people get sick and the healthcare system is overwhelmed, then a bunch of nurses and doctors are going to have to be working 16-hour days. They're going to be, people are going to burn out. People are going to die. The trauma of having to deal with that amount of dying people is like, there's serious psychological injury that goes along with all those sorts of things. You can't just have a situation where we go, oh, well, if you're not vaccinated, go fuck yourself. I hope you die. Like, we all have to work as a society to get through this. But yeah, I'm immensely frustrated by the just contrarian assholes that don't want to participate in society by doing something as simple as getting vaccinated. Like, I'm double vaxxed at this point. Like,
or even just like I want to get. I'm happy to get vaccinated, but we shouldn't have a lockdown. Like, lockdowns are the concept that there should be no restrictions and that my rights shouldn't be impinged upon.
My rights trump someone else's right to live. That's what I find concern. My right to walk around and not have to do, like, it's the sacrifice that's being asked of us is so small. It's like, go and get a vaccine, wear a mask if you're indoors with a bunch of people. Like, it's pretty modest request. It's not like being conscripted to fight the fucking Nazis. Like, they're pretty small sacrifices. Like, hey, we can all get more or less back to normal if everyone gets a jab. And it's, I don't know, it's selfishness. It's immensely frustrating. And it places so much frustration that even me, who's like trying my best to be like maximum empathetic to everyone's positions, at a certain point is just like, fuck them. Fuck them. I hope they die. Like, you're so unempathetic. You're making me unempathetic. That's how bad the selfishness is from some of these people.
It's gonna be interesting in the history books of just looking back at, there was a massive plague, and then people were so stupid that they then protested the life-saving medication
Yes.
for that plague.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? Like, there's voting against your own self-interest, and then there's
Taking horse
yeah, this
medicine
isn't
out of spite.
yeah, this isn't an intelligence test anyone should fail.
Yeah. It
Like-
really, I do feel like they're going to look back at the 21st century and go, okay, so what ended that coronavirus pandemic in the 21st century? Checks notes. It seems like, I don't know, people just got bored of it. Like, I think it's just, they got over it. Like,
Yeah, what made case numbers drop? Oh, they just stopped recording them.
yeah, they just stopped giving a shit.
They just stopped noting it down, it seems. Everyone got over it.
And just to quickly sidebar, that's pretty much what's happened in the US. So the US still has something like 24% of its population that need to get a jab, and they've now had more deaths than the Spanish flu. Basically because of the polarization, not because like American companies are the ones that have invented the vaccines, like not because they're not smart, but because people are so insistent upon their own rights and their own freedoms, and this neoliberal
could have
like
been-
fascistization around my own
individual liberties at the expense of everything else. And there's so much talk about freedoms, my rights, and no fucking talk about responsibilities. What do we owe each other as being part of a society? I remember Obama got roasted during his second term for the "you didn't build that" speech that he gave. It was like saying, and Americans being Americans, took it as like saying, "Oh, you didn't build that." The thrust of the speech was basically like, hey, if you built a business, it wasn't you just by yourself that did that all by yourself. The goods that you use come on roads, those roads and the healthcare and hospitals, like we are all living in a society and we all contribute to the generation of wealth in our society. It's a team effort, right? But of course, the neoliberal far-right conservative media was just like, Obama's saying you're not responsible for your success, and just threw a hissy fit about it. And I feel like that's emblematic of what's happening currently. There's just this strain of just contrarian, psychotically libertarian people.
Permeated not just through the US, but
everywhere, through here as well. And it's like, it goes to show you how much information ecosystems count. Like how much damage misinformation can really do. And if I was a country that was opposed to the United States and Australia, say China, for example, or say Russia, I would be doing everything I could within my power to amplify all of those voices to cause maximum amount of chaos. That's what the Russians refer to as active measures, right? Like just helping to foment discord in the countries that you oppose. And there's evidence of that as well. There's Russia Today and all these sort of propaganda channels and Twitter bots and things that are amplifying these sorts of voices. Like it's hardly surprising.
You've got in the US during the pandemic, during the start of the pandemic, they had Trump. So they didn't really need a whole lot of help. Brazil's got Bolsonaro,
the ultimate useful idiot.
Yes, they're doing it to themselves for the most part, and I wonder if it was Mitt Romney, term 2, Mitt Romney 2.0. This time it's extremely bland as well. Would there be such an ideological divide between left and right about mask wearing and vaccines if it was a sensible Republican president who was just like,
It's a sentence that doesn't come up often.
I know, but just like bear with me. Engage in the theater of the mind, Tom. Engage in the thought experiment. Say there was a rational Republican president. I wonder if there would have been such division and polarization around all these sorts of things. If it was Mitt Romney saying, "Hey, everyone, get the vaccine, get your masks, get you this, get you that," would there have been the amount of pushback that there was? I don't think so.
No. The Trump era
has sort of fermented all of this, right?
Oh yeah, and the very fact, in that instance, you would have had a president mandating those, saying those things of we should be wearing masks, because Trump. It wasn't that Trump said it and no one listened. It was that Trump just wouldn't say it because he's
and he was always
fuckhead.
Contradicting himself and other people and saying one thing and doing another, and like he was just
Poor Fauci was just like, oh, fucking, why do I bother?
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, that was just as a sidebar. I think it's people wonder like, what is the antithesis? Like, what if we just what if we all just had our freedoms? Like, I'm sure it'd be fine. Like, everyone's just overreacting. No, we have the antithesis. You can see that in Brazil. You can see that in the United States. So here in Australia, the concept would be, well, you've seen what the one side of it is. Let's try and do the opposite of that, and maybe work together to yes, we'll have to forsake certain things for a while, but that's what it takes to overcome a national crisis, whether it be a war, whether it be a pandemic, whether it be an economic crisis.
Well, this is what it means to be in a society, is we need to work together for the common benefit of everyone. I think I used to identify more as a left-leaning libertarian, and since the pandemic, that's all gone out the fucking window. Like, I have no patience for like even
eat the rich.
No, because I just
go Moke and eat my ass. Join us, George.
Left on social issues, but then the thought that if I can deploy my money better, then I feel as though the government is deploying the money. And in the midst of this crisis, I've just felt that like, no, we absolutely need government support. Like, there is no universe in which this is easier without government support. And I think there was a guy on Sam Harris's podcast who said something like, a pandemic makes socialists of us all. And I was just kind of like, yeah, because we need each other. This is the only scenario where things get better, is if we all work together. And the only apparatus that's big enough and interested enough to do that is government. So...
Almost like Karl Marx had a point.
No, we're not. No, we're not going that far. We're not seizing the means of production. But like, if Jeff Bezos could pay any tax, that'd be great. Like,
it'd be a huge help.
So in response to all of that, it just made me think of the federal election 2016. All these fake tradies made me think of this fake tradie political advertisement in 2016. Roll the tape, Jimmy.
Let me get this right. Mr. Shorten wants to go to war with my bank. He wants to go to war with our miners. Bill Shorten even wants to go to war with someone like me, who just wants to get ahead through an investment property. Well, I'll tell you what happens when you get a war going on the economy. People like me lose their jobs. So I reckon we should just see it through and stick with the current mob for a while.
Authorised T-Nut Liberal Party.
Fuck, that's a bad ad.
I'd forgotten how bad that ad was.
Wants people like
milkshake.
me.
That's milkshake ad bad.
So bad.
Wow.
T-Nut. Is that meant to be tough nut? Is that meant to be the joke there? I don't know.
Tough. No, I think that has to be
the channel.
A real person.
Like, it has to be a real. Well, unless they're really breaching some AEC laws.
It's literally in the film Wag the Dog, which I saw recently, so I actually know what I'm talking about. There's the ads that they run that are running through the election. You sort of see them on the TV every now and then, are literally like, you don't change a horse mid-race. Let's let the current mob keep going. Like, and it's just, and they're just like criticizing the shit out of those ads as being like horrendous and uninspiring. And it's just like, it's literally that ad that they're running. They're like, I reckon we should let the current mob keep going. Yeah, they've it's not, they're not fucking it up too badly. Let's let the current mob have another crack.
It's a bold strategy in that sense, because it is admitting like, they'll come good eventually. We're not good now, but just stick with us and let's just keep going with it.
Surely the graft and corruption will stop at some point.
At some point.
Should we fill in listeners who aren't aware of 2016 Australian election campaign? So that
I guess, was there another big campaign going on at that time? I don't think so.
No, it's the only one, because 2016, this is the Australian one, I think, was the only one of note. That was the unlosable election campaign, where Labor came up with a bunch of progressive policies around negative gearing, so like declaring losses on investment properties as tax deductible, and dividends from shares being taxed and in a more appropriate way compared to Labor, and all these sorts of things. And everyone freaked out.
That wasn't actually. That was a different election. 2016.
No, that was the
before,
2019 one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
the most
thinking-
recent election was
You're
the
right,
unlosable
actually.
one. But yeah, the point is, in that campaign, it was revealed that the tradie in that ad, the spokesperson in the thing, isn't really a tradie.
Who could have possibly seen that?
He was an actor.
What? People like me lose their jobs in getting commercials
Actors.
for political, political commercial actors.
Just feel bad for the actor because he's probably some bloke who his agent called him up. He's probably like part time, like he's got some other job probably. His agent probably called him up and was like,
as a tradie,
ironically as a tradie, and was like, bro, you know they'll pay you $1,200. You just got to come on, dress as a tradie, read from a teleprompter, and we'll give you $1,200. He's like, great. Like I haven't had a gig in like 3 months. No worries. Rocks
3
up
months,
to set.
3 years more like.
What's it for? Oh, it's a political ad. How do you feel about that? Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. And then reads it terribly, like not his best day at work. Let's be fair. Like everyone's had a bad day
You reckon
reading
it
the
was because
teleprompter.
he genuinely didn't believe in the sentiment? It's just,
I know,
and so he
yeah.
just did a shit job. He was like, I reckon we should let the current mob keep going. I'm convincing Bob Reelman.
I think he's just reading off the teleprompter poorly, and it's not. It just didn't come out well. And maybe they took like 2 or 3 takes of it, and they're like, "Oh, that'll do." Like, we don't need it to be Shakespeare. We just need to get it on TV.
Could you imagine the lefty artists at the agency that put this together? They're like, "Look, it's a fucking paycheck. All right, I don't care."
Anyway, it was a huge deal. Fake tradie. Fake tradie was a big deal.
Fake tradies.
Hashtag fake tradie.
Fake tradies now. It just made me think of that. I thought that was a bit of fun.
Yeah. As soon as Bill Shorten actually said the phrase fake tradie, I was like, oh no.
And that would have been for Malcolm Turnbull's re-election. Well, no, not re-election, election. Yes, it would have been. Yes, Turnbull. That would have been.
Yeah.
So we've had several Liberal governments for a while now. It's losing track of which one's which.
They're all the same terrible people as before, Adam. If ever you forget, you just remember it's the same shitbags that have been in charge for the last 8 years, and then they still turn around and go, "Oh, but Labor were the ones who started the submarine program." It's like, mate, you've been in charge for a fucking decade. Can you own anything? Can you just admit can anything be your responsibility at this point? We haven't had a Labor government since the iPhone 4. Like, get your shit together.
It's funny because, like, with all the tradies being off when the earthquake occurred, it's almost like, and there was that damage on Chapel Street. They kind of need some tradies to go and work.
The industry's closed down. Could you imagine that text chain? Hey, buddy, it's Dan. How's it going? Just seeing if you guys are up. Hey, you're not responding. So obviously just having a bit of a laugh about the whole closing the industry thing down. Obviously, Is this still your number, or because not responding at all? So I just kind of figured we had a good laugh, but we definitely need you guys to clean up after the earthquake and rebuild some stuff. So.
And it's almost kind of a thought that occurred to me this past week as well, was that kind of thank God that it was all shut down and they weren't working construction when a fucking earthquake hit. Like, I imagine that's pretty dangerous.
It didn't seem like it was crazy. Like, I was here at home. It was a 6 on the Richter scale, but as I said, it was about 100 and whatever it was, 124 Ks from Melbourne, something like that. So I felt it. Like, I was in bed. And it was just, it felt like the room was sort of shaking around. I felt like the mirror on the sort of credenza was gonna come off, but it only lasted about 20 seconds or so. Like, it wasn't like some huge violent thing because we were quite far away from the epicenter of it.
I felt like my whole building moved back and forth.
I heard the house groaning. That was very concerning. I was just like, oh, is my fucking roof gonna cave in and kill me? But,
the apartment building I was in was swaying a bit. The bed was moving, and I was like, it feels like someone's fucking on the bed next to me, but like I'm not the one fucking. So
either I'm having the best orgasm of my life, or
Or there's an earthquake.
It
I
might
love
be an
it.
earthquake.
I love it. George thinks maybe his mirror is going to fall down. My initial thought was that there were people doing works on the roof because I'm on the highest, like just a 2-story building. And if there's someone walking on the roof, it sometimes like feels like shaking and loud. Adam was like, someone's fucking right next to me. Either that or it's an earthquake. Fuck.
But it is one of those things when an earthquake happens, you don't know what's like. Is it getting worse? Like you're sort of there and it's sort of like it sort of reaches a bit of a crescendo and you're like, oh fuck, is this going to keep going? And then luckily it sort of petered out after about 20
All
30
I
seconds.
knew was the Questacon earthquake simulator that I went on as a child prepared me.
Oh, really?
That knowledge came in handy. I knew what to do.
Canberra reference.
Yeah, in Canberra there's Questacon and they have an earthquake simulator. It's great.
Meanwhile, anyone who lives in LA, Japan, or any other country in the
laughing.
world is
Just
just looking at us going, "You fucking idiot!"
Belly
they're just
laughing
going,
at us.
yeah, oh yeah, you had an earthquake. That's cute.
That's
And then we
cute.
go, oh, but we also get crazy bushfires in California. Still like, yeah, cute.
Yeah. That's not a
It also
bushfire.
gets really hot in the summer.
That's not a bushfire. This is a bushfire.
This is a bushfire.
So, speaking of America, as we just were,
Mhm.
there was an audit, a forensic audit of the Maricopa County in Arizona.
Why?
Because Republicans. So this is the new strategy, is basically just set the scene for 2024 to steal the election. It's just like, do we want to persuade voters that we are the party of choice and maybe have them vote for us? No. What we will do is we will replace all the election officials that stopped it being stolen last time, and then we'll just replace them with our fucking goons in the Republican Party who are just, moral vacuums and are happy to do, facilitate a coup. So, enabling all of these bills that allow state legislatures to overturn elections and, like all this political guardrails that were in place before and have now been sort of dismantled. So, and one plank of that platform is to basically keep doing audits of the 2020 election and increase the confusion, muddy the waters around the certainty that people have around these elections. So you might remember we talked about it a month or two ago about Cyber Ninjas, the firm that was not a verified forensic accounting, sort of vote auditing situation. They were employed by the Arizona government to come and do a forensic audit. And these are the people that were looking for bamboo in the paper because China,
what?
I don't know. It's just a very racist
Adam,
conspiracy theory.
You didn't know that was a thing?
They're like, why are you using the UV lights? And they're like, for bamboo. And they're like,
yeah.
Why?
See if the paper has bamboo in it.
Why would the paper have bamboo in it? And they're like, because Asians.
Yeah, because China's sending it. And I don't know if you know this, but bamboo's from China.
And this is the company that's called Cyber Ninjas, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so their final report came back in, and they show that Joe Biden won by an even larger margin than had been initially reported. So Trump had it up, I think, on his website or something like that, had a statement saying like, watch out for this audit. It's coming out tomorrow. You're like, these guys are great. They're going to show the real truth as it really is. And then they released their report being like, actually, it was up by 360 votes in favor of Biden. And then Trump took it down and said, no, it's all bullshit. You guys are a bunch of bullshit artists and you're fake news. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. I was going to say, and what did he say to that? Be like, oh, wow, no, I guess I was wrong. He's like, no, he'll just say, you betrayed me too.
No, it is the children who are wrong. Yes. He was the quote, huge findings in Arizona. However, the fake news media is already trying to call it again for Biden before actually looking at the facts, just like they did in November. So saying that they had uncovered, quote, significant and undeniable evidence of fraud. But of course, the report actually came out. It didn't say that, and he was very upset. So I just had a good lull.
It upset Trump, so that's good news.
I just had a good lull about it because, I was just like, go fuck yourself, you fucking loser. You fucking loser. You lost. Good day, sir. I said good day. You get nothing.
Meanwhile, like people are so concerned about it in America. And the other thing is, just as a sidebar, the Republicans are like undoing all this stuff, but like if for some reason there's a massive swing, this could all be used against them as well at some point, which I don't.
What do you mean?
But well, like if they're gonna change the laws for how things are calculated and counted, and they're going to redistribute votes and God knows what else, or whatever they're doing, like that could come back and bite them potentially in the future. But my main point was that in Russia they recently had their parliamentary election, and there's literal videos of people vote rigging. There's a lady standing in front of a ballot box like this, and this hand reaches out behind this flag and just like starts putting votes into the box behind this lady. There was another lady who's got like a whole reel of them and is just going like this over a ballot box.
Like Russia is legitimately cooked. Like I don't think you can even call Russia a democracy at this stage. So, like you want to know what voter fraud actually looks like? This is what voter fraud actually looks like in Russia. There was Apple and Google. There had been apps created for like a preferential voting system. So basically, what the opposition party, led by Alexei Navalny, has been advocating is for people to vote for the candidate that is not the government that could most likely win. So basically, using these apps to coordinate people's votes everywhere to say if we all vote for the people who are not Putin, who can actually win in this seat, then we can make sure that they don't have enough. So, like, regardless of what your personal ideology is, rather than splitting the vote amongst 5 different opposition leaders, we all coordinate our vote to vote for the person who's most likely to win against the Putin party's candidate, right? Am I making sense? Tom's staring at me blankly.
No, it's making sense. It was just more thinking like, it's scary that Apple and Google are they doing that, or is it just an app available on the smartphones? Because like that's some terrifying them getting involved in the democratic process.
So it was built on these platforms, and then the day of the election, Apple and Google must have gotten some fucking threat from the Russian government because these apps got pulled right at the last second. And even videos on YouTube, they were like explaining to people how to vote in these different seats also got pulled. So what's concerning to me is the fact that these huge tech companies are just like, yeah, we don't want any part in, trying to head this off at the pass, this obviously broken, corrupt, not democracy. We'll just keep our hands off it. We'll just abstain. Cool.
Do you guys think, here's a question for you, moving back to the States. Do you think that the democratic furore around the 2016 fake news rigged elections and then going after Trump and the the James Comey thing, do you think that whole situation and the several year effort after the fact basically has enabled the situation we have now where the Republicans are effectively using that same methodology to decry the election?
No, I don't agree that that's what happened there, because in the case of Trump in 2016, there were real questions around the associations that he had with Russia, which have still, as like to date, have not been fully explained. There's a great series about James Comey, which sort of delves into this, fiction, not a fiction, a dramatization of James Comey and his firing and that whole situation, like how that unfolded. There are real questions around Trump's links with Russia and Deutsche Bank and money changing hands and a house getting bought out of the blue for twice its value from Donald Trump by some Russian oligarch. And like, these are all documented things that we know about that happened. And so there's obviously some there, but I don't think anyone, whilst people were dubious around, the motives, I don't think anyone on the Democratic side doubted that Trump actually won the election. Like you could have said that he was.
You don't think it's undermined confidence in the electoral system in the US because of that?
Rightly so. Like if you have what could be perceived to be foreign meddling in your elections, you might be dubious about the person that they've helped to elevate into power, especially when that person is a bomb thrower a political, metaphorical bomb thrower, firebrand, you might say, like Donald Trump, you might say, okay, well, this has been done to sow chaos deliberately. Now, once he was elected, though, no one was going and on the Democratic side and saying, "Oh, votes were faked in Wisconsin" and that sort of stuff. They were saying like, "Well, there's been undue influence, but like these are the results. We have to live with them for the next 4 years." And then it was all about resisting Trump and all that sort of stuff. Whereas the Republicans are like, "No, we don't accept the reality that Joe Biden was elected president." And like the majority of Republicans, believe that Joe Biden is not the duly elected president of the United States. No one on the Democratic side with Trump doubted that he was the president. They just thought he got there by shonky means. Whereas like Republicans are like, no, Joe Biden is not the president. Like they just live in an alternate reality.
But the question being is, would the Republicans, that's a real word. Tom, you might want to answer this, but would the Republicans have as much of a leg to stand on in terms of the social discourse of election fraud, had the whole 2016 shenanigans not occurred?
It might have given them a lot of ideas in terms of like the kinds of conspiracy theories to sort of put forward to sow the seeds of doubt. It's one of those things of like, yeah, it had definitely influenced it, but I don't know if I'd say it was a direct like, yes, that's why. Like, yeah, that's why they did it. Like, it was probably something that that's been building for a long time. I mean, look at like Gore and Bush. Like
Republicans are going to Republican
stop the count kind of crap.
Right?
And,
they've been doing this. That sort of state by state redistricting, gerrymandering sort of bullshit has been happening since 2010. Like Obama getting elected was the reason for them to basically freak out and have this backlash and deny reality. And there's been this like hyper-conservative Christian movement going all the way back to Reagan, or Nixon with the Southern strategy, like capitalizing on these low information voters, using social issues as wedge issues, to try and using things like abortion and these kind of social issues to wedge the other party. That's been going on for ages. For decades. So I don't think you can really hang that on,
No, I was
Trump
just curious as to sort of thought experiment out the concept of, whether or not it's contributed to it.
Democrats didn't like the reality of Trump of getting elected, but they accepted that it was reality. Like they're like, this reality sucks. This is what we're going to have to do for the next 4 years is dig in and, is this, here the political machinery that we can put in motion to register more voters and, help get our guy elected in 4 years. Whereas the Republicans are just like, no, it didn't happen. I'm just going to go live in my own informational universe. Like that's the difference.
I thought the Democrats' strategy was really to go, oh, do we want to like impeach him for all this bad stuff he's done? I don't wanna.
Yeah, there was a bit of that as well. It's just never underestimate the Democrats' ability to fuck up having the upper hand in any situation. They will do it. Whether I remember the fight, to get Raphael Warnock elected in Georgia, the senator for Georgia, was like, great, they've got 50 senators, like they're actually going to be able to get their agenda through. Like nobody saw this coming, that they'd get 2 senators in Georgia. Like the Biden administration is going to be kicking a bunch of goals. And then Joe Manchin's just like, I know I'm technically a Democrat, but I'm just going to fuck everything up. Me and Kirsten Sinema are just like, even though our party has the majority, we're still going to get nothing done because of the filibuster. And that's just held up their agenda massively in the last, 8-10 months. So it's even with the benefit of having a full like 50 people in the Senate, the Democrats still haven't been able to
still are fucking it up.
Still fucking it up. It's like you guys have what's technically a supermajority. You've got the House, you've got the presidency, you've got the Senate. Like, if
use it.
Yeah, use it. Like let's get some stuff through. Fuck the filibuster. Let's you might have 2 years before the House gets taken over because of gerrymandering on the Republican side. Like you need to push some shit through now. And they're like, no, let's negotiate for 6 months about a fucking infrastructure package that gets watered down. It's Obamacare all over again. Like never underestimate the ability of Democrats to fuck up their own shit. How do you think they'll fuck it up, Adam?
with an angel who has 7 bowels.
That's a callback to when we said bowl. It's
Yeah.
definitely bowls.
Right. Bowls, yeah.
Yeah. On
I
that
was just
note,
reading something. Yeah.
we have been, we are, and we always will be Unnatural Selection. Make sure you visit us at our salubrious home on the web, unnaturalshow.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social medias that have, do, or ever will exist that are ruining the world at Unnatural Show. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at George Tsipos.
You can follow me on Twitter at Tom D. Heath.
You can follow me on Instagram at AC Dream.
And you can follow us all down to Maricopa County to count some votes and look for some bamboo, maybe some panda bears. Just all the classic voter fraud.
Even talk about the Chinese debt crisis that's evolving. We'll do that next week once a few more banks have fallen over.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's here's a question for you. Banknotes, are they made of bamboo? Because how do you know it's a really Chinese bank if they're not?
It's true. I've never thought about it like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Do your own research, mate. Thanks for listening. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.